Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be talking some football, Champions League, EPL, Europa League. And of course, joining me this evening, we have returning to the podcast, Sir Cole.
Greetings, everyone. Glad to be back.
Sir Cole, you seem like you took a long sabbatical, but I'm happy to see you're back. You seem like you're bouncing back, just as Manchester United look as if they may make it into a European Cup final.
Yeah, it's a great evening. They didn't expect us to come out with such a resounding win, but we give thanks for the win and just get the formalities outside. Next week though.
A game set match from the first leg, then Sir Cole. Game set match. 3-0 cushion.
Uh, a 3-0 margin, I think, should be enough to see us through. I think maybe Spanish teams have given Manu a bit of problems over the years, but 3-0, I think, is probably beyond them, to be honest, especially going back to Old Trafford. So yeah, barring
Yeah,
what.
and it's quite possible we may very well see an all England Europa League final, Sir Cole. I mean, not taking care of business on their side of the draw. I mean, that man Pochettino, he did say that usually in his second season he win trophies, Sir Cole, and he is what, 2 games away from lifting a European Cup.
Well, so to his Manu stands in his way to lift the cup. So um,
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed, indeed. But for sure, the Spurs fans should be quite jubilant. And I mean, many doubted Pochettino and his philosophy circle, but in Europe, it seemed to be shining quite bright. I mean, it's quite different in the EPL, but definitely the quality is shining through over there in Europe.
Well, it is showing that the second tier of the European competition isn't really very um, as strong, mind you. Based on the change in the format of the Champions League, then a bit of the stronger team would have moved up into the Champions League as well. So it makes
Right, right. Wheaton that
next
the,
tier
the,
a
the
bit
second tier.
weaker. Yes, yes.
It's quite possible that's an astute assessment for sure. Many would not have seen this when the Champions League format shifted, but for sure, I can definitely see where that may be a downfall of the new format of the Champions League. The second and even third tier, I mean, the Europa Conference League, that should be Chelsea out and out. I mean, Chelsea is leaps
As
and
well.
bounds among the other teams in that league as well. So it's almost like a gimmick trophy, so to speak. Not much competition circle, to be honest.
All right. No, if Arsenal can get their act together, then we could possibly have England winning the three trophies on offer: the Champions League,
It's
the
quite possible.
Europa League, and the Conference League. So let's
It,
just hope
it,
we can
it,
pull off a trouble.
yeah, the only downfall is that it seemed not to translate over into the national team circle. It's the non-English players which seem to be starring up the EPL. And England as a unit just seem not to be able to get it together to win any major trophies. What's going on? The best league in the world, yet the country is unable to win or lift any major titles. What's going on? What's it?
Well,
Where does the disconnect lie?
we've been knocking on the door for a while now, so we have paid the dues. So at the next tournament, it's definitely coming home.
Uh, I've been hearing that statement for some time now, but
Uh,
time is the master. Time will tell. 2026 may yet be the year of the English. But that being said, though, Sir Cole, we did see Arsenal going down in the Champions League semi-final versus PSG. What's your feeling on that game? And can Arsenal bounce back and, as you said, make it to the final? What's your general feeling about that tie?
Well, even though Arsenal lost the game, I wouldn't say they were definitely outplayed our ball off the park. It was a competitive tie, mind you. I think Arsenal escaped with a lucky call there. Probably should have been a PK. So 2-0. But in terms of the actual passages of play, I think it was a pretty even game. With probably in the latter part, Arsenal having the better of the play. So 1-0 advantage to the team on Paris, but I don't think it's a lead that they can be okay with. I mean, Arsenal has it within their grasp to overcome such a deficit, and it's still game on.
Definitely the ball is rolling and it takes one goal to really change the game. And Arsenal get that goal early. It's a brand new football game. PSG get that goal early could be another nail in the Arsenal coffin. And of course, PSG would have had the experience so cool of taking out two other English teams before Arsenal, getting rid of Liverpool, the league champions, and of course getting rid of Aston Villa as well. It could be three English team on the road to the final for PSG. And I mean, that man Dembele, Sir Cole, he has to be among one of the best in the world currently.
Well, he's among the most informed in the world currently.
Who
That's
would
for
you say
sure.
is the best in the world at this point in time there, Sir Cole? If you were to pick one footballer, no, which name would you be picking?
As a striker,
Well, just as a footballer in general. Just like how we would say Messi is the best in the world or Ronaldo is the best in the world. Who is the best in the world right now? I mean, Messi and Ronaldo is in no lower tier leagues, you could say on their last
mm,
legs. So who has taken over that mantle of world's best, you would say?
that's a question I really haven't given much thought to be honest, as to besides seeing the outgoing of those two, who is the next person to take
Yeah,
over, and
who is
I
the
really
next
can't
man up?
say.
Who is the debate now between, so to speak?
I
I
really
mean, for
haven't
years it
heard
was Messi,
much.
Ronaldo, Messi,
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah, but who is it now? Who are the names being touted as the best in the world? I mean, I would throw Dembele in that mix along with Salah and probably Yamal from Barcelona or even Rafinha circle. Those would be the four at the top of my list right now. Salah, I mean, just look at his statistics, a goal machine, an assist machine. Dembele, pretty much playing the form of his life or the year of his life. This has probably been his best year as a professional footballer in terms of the outcome, goals,
Yeah,
assists, and
definitely.
of course, winning
Mm.
the chances are winning the
League One.
English, I mean, the League One, French League, and
Mm.
possibly going on to the Champions League final, possibly winning that as well. And if you look over Barcelona as well, same thing. Rafinha is playing out of his skin. And Yamal, the 17-year-old, already won a European Cup with Spain, already won a Super Copa under Barcelona. I mean, at 17 circle, this man has
Yeah,
basically ticked all the boxes already. The
yeah.
only thing left is a Champions League title.
As a young upcoming star, I mean, he definitely is really one for the future. Well, also one for the present, because I think he's doing that goal in the game on Tuesday. I mean, it was fantastic. I
Mm.
mean, for such a young age to pick up the ball, like dribble, cut in, and kick. I mean, really a great strike. And yes, you are correct in terms of him being among the pretenders for that title going forward.
Time is the master. Time is the master indeed. I mean, I would say maybe a year ago it was the likes of a Vinicius that were being
That's
touted,
true.
but
Mm,
the consistency has left Vinicius. I mean, that seemed to be the differential between the Messis, the Ronaldos, consistently, longevity. So it's not just a one season wonder or one season
mm,
hit of productivity, but it's a continued year after year, year after year, year after year. I mean, even a year ago, we were talking about Cole Palmer circle, but this season, especially the second half of the season, Cole Palmer seemed to have gone missing for Chelsea.
Well, his name is probably be changed now to Cold Palm, because he has gone so cold. I really not sure what has happened, because I mean,
Uh,
he was playing some fantastic ball even at the start of the season, but I don't know what has changed. He has just simply gone off the boil.
that is it. That is it. And again, that's what makes the difference between what we would classify as a great player and a good player. I mean, that consistent production year after year after year. That's why, to me, I would have to put Salah at number one circle, just based on the consistent levels of high performance. and the offensive output that you're getting from this man year after year after year. I would have to put Salah right there at number one currently in terms of the best player in the world. He should also be picking up a Ballon d'Or this year, unless FIFA is totally biased against African players.
No. African player has won World Awards before.
Yeah, but that was way back when. I mean, what,
Yeah,
from
man,
early
exactly.
80s? Was that George Weah?
90s. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, that, what, 30 years ago, Sir Cole?
There
Come
go.
now, man.
Cool. Mm.
We've seen a number of other African players emerging who potentially have gotten a big mention. I mean, the likes of a Etu from back in the day, a Drogba, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but we
mean,
must
an
admit that
SCN,
none of these
number of
players
players.
have been, none of these players has been at the top of the world game. Salah
Yeah, but
is
wouldn't
probably
you say
the
Salah is
closest
there
to it.
right now?
Salah would have been in the conversation, I think, had Liverpool gone further in Champions League.
Yeah,
But
but I mean,
his
winning the
achievements
league is
are
is 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 tantamount. I mean, which
no,
is
not
harder,
necessarily.
Sir Cole?
No, not
Which is
because
harder to
you
win, in your opinion, the Champions
teams
League or the EPL?
teams win their domestic league every year. So what his league is anything special, anything out of this world.
Well, I
That happens
mean,
every year.
it's still a feather in his cap. I mean,
So
it's
when
still something to hang his hat
fine,
on,
I admit,
as well
when
as
Leicester,
possibly winning the Golden Boot award and possibly winning the number one assist award as well. So he could possibly be picking up
yeah,
three
but
trophies.
all his achievements are, as I said, within the domestic league. So
Well, you have to
when
play
Leicester,
what's in front of you.
well, yes, and so too was Plymouth Argyle, who was in front of them, and they lost. So too was PSG, and they lost. So
Well,
I mean, yeah, you have to play what's in front of you. So when they came
mm.
up, when they were in Europe, they didn't advance as probably they should have expected.
Well,
PSG
that's true. That's
going
true. I
up against
mean,
them.
definitely.
Hmm.
But again, you could possibly have been knocked out by the Champions League winner, to be honest. That is pretty much why I've thrown my support behind PSG. The fact that they took Liverpool out of the competition. I mean, it is no easy feat. Any team that can knock Liverpool out of a competition right now is definitely recipe for lifting that cup. So, from that point of view, I have PSG advancing over Arsenal. And on the other side, it's a tough one. Historically, it's the home team that usually advances. I had backed Barcelona originally, so I'm gonna stick by that call, Sir Cole. But it wouldn't surprise me if Inter was the team that went through.
I don't think Inter is fearful of Barcelona, and with Inter's attacking prowess, I think attacking wise they're probably the best team that I've seen. I mean, just simply watching their play without doing any much great analysis and thing. I just love how Inter attacks, and they have great chemistry up front. And just by watching them play, I would love it if Inter advances, if Inter goes for
So
another
from your
Champions League
point
final.
of view, Sir Cole, who makes it to the final in Germany? Which two teams are you backing to make it to that final at the Allianz Arena over there in Bayern?
I will go on a limb right now, and I will go with Inter, and I will go with Arsenal. I think Arsenal comes back from 1-0 down.
And who lifts the title at the end of the day?
We cross that bridge when they reach.
Well, again, my call is for PSG to go all the way. So I'm going PSG Barca and PSG to lift that title. But as you said, time will tell. Time will definitely tell. But looking
Okay.
ahead, Circle, we have some big EPL action coming up over the weekend. Some game of significant importance. I mean, the league is pretty much wrapped up. Liverpool should be getting a guard of honor from Chelsea. But other big games are of serious consequence. For example, we have Arsenal Bournemouth clash, and we also have a number of Brighton Newcastle, for example. But we're gonna just quickly run through these matches,
Hmm.
Sir Cole, and see what your thoughts are as it relates to these big games. But the EPL resumes tomorrow, Sir Cole. Friday, we're covering this on Thursday, but We have an early kickoff on Friday, and that game is between Man City and Wolves. Man City at home versus Wolves.
Mm.
Man City pretty much trying to maintain their spot in the Champions League positions. Wolves are all but safe, so they should be playing with a level of freedom. What says you for that game? Man City versus Wolves.
Yeah, Man City really trying to cement their spot in the top four. No, their only hope, is to actually finish in that spot to play in Champions League. So I think they'll be going all guns blazing. Um, Haaland, I think, is now back in training, so should add
Oh, Haaland
some
is back in
punch.
training.
I thought that's what I heard this week
Oh,
that
okay. Will he
Haaland.
be fit for the weekend though, Circle? Will he get the
I,
start?
I don't know. I'm not sure if he will play or he can get some minutes, but
Mm.
I think he should be available again.
Oh,
If
so he
not this
should
weekend,
probably
then
be
probably for the
trying
next
to
one.
round into form to play that FA Cup final then versus
Quite
Crystal
likely,
Palace.
quite likely, but by then he should be match ready.
Mm.
So I don't think probably they risk him, but if needs be, he should be available to them. But I don't think that they really need him because I see Man City coming out an easy 2 or 3 goal win over Wolves.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, Man City at home, Wolves definitely playing some football, getting a good result in the last game. But has Man City turned the corner, Circle? Is probably a better question to ask. Can we trust this Man City team? Or will we see them losing a game or two here or there? Can we now trust them? Can we see Man City back to their best?
I won't say they're necessarily back to their best, but definitely better than what they were in the mid to early part of the season. That's for sure. And with them
So
playing
what
how
has
they have
changed
played,
though, Circle? From your perspective, what changed between the fall off Man City versus this Man City, which seem to be generating some better results? What has been that shift, so to speak?
I really can't pinpoint a definite point as well. Then it's because of X, Y, or Z. But for sure, the results have changed. As for the why, I'm really not sure. We have seen De Bruyne come over from
Well,
injury
it
and
could
is
have
now
been
back
the new
available.
signings. To me, it's the new signings.
Yes, they have come in and added some, a bit of positive impetus to the Man City team, and yeah,
And
their
probably,
form have changed.
right, and maybe a couple players, a couple key players coming back from injury. For example, Kevin De Bruyne. Uh, but one player which seemed to have fallen off Circle is Foden. The Englishman. I mean, if you're picking an England team today, would Foden be making that team?
No, based on form, no. I don't think so. Man,
Yeah, I mean, he has fallen off.
yeah, based on the heights he achieved last season, because I believe last season he was the PFA player of the season.
Right,
So
right.
this season, I'm not sure what has gone wrong for him. I really
Mm.
can't say why, but yeah, it's a real big fall from grace.
Definitely something to keep an eye on going forward, in all honesty. Definitely something to keep an eye on. But another team Circle which is in contention for finishing in that top five is Aston Villa. Aston Villa versus Fulham. That game takes place on Saturday. Aston Villa at home versus Fulham. And Aston Villa pretty much coming off a loss in that FA Cup semi-final versus Crystal Palace. Can they bounce back versus this Fulham team, Circle?
Yeah, it seems like Rashford has picked up a injury, so
Oh, so
he's
Watkins should be getting the start then.
so Watkins should be getting the start. It seemed like Rashford had a really found favor
It
in that
appears
Aston
that
Villa
way,
team.
and it seems
Yeah,
Watkins had fallen out of favor. I'm not sure what's going on there.
yeah.
I mean,
So
possibly Watkins could be out out at Aston Villa come the summer.
probably, and maybe for the right price they could look to cash in.
Indeed. I mean, Manchester United is searching for a striker circle. Could Watkins fit the bill for a man who can put the ball in the back of the net and spearhead that lethargic United attack?
Well, he's tried, tested, and proven in the league. So I don't think. Well, I for one would not go against buying Watkins should he be open to the move.
Mm, I see, I see. But what's your call for that game, Sir Cole? Aston Villa at home versus Fulham. What says you as it relates to that one?
Only Watkins may want to, having no gotten the chance to start again to prove that he really should be starting every game whether Rashford is fit or not. So probably will want to go and do some heroics. But Fulham is a team which on their day can do well. And coming off the last weekend, I really don't think with Rashford out, they probably still lack that cutting edge up front. So I will see a Fulham. I'm more go towards Fulham in this one.
Wow. Wow. I'm more leaning towards a draw. I mean, Aston Villa just seem not to be able to become consistent, it seems. And that man, Leon Bailey Circle, seem not to be able to make his way into this Aston Villa team. I mean, what's going on with Leon Bailey? Are we seeing the final knockings of Leon Bailey at Aston Villa? Will he be looking for greener pastures come the summer? Because he seemed not to be out of favor. I mean, players like Asensio, who has just arrived, seem to be ahead of him in the pecking order. Rashford as well, I mean, I thought with the departure of Duran, for example, then Leon Bailey would be seeing more minutes, but it seemed the opposite has taken place. So I'm a bit concerned for him as it relates to his future at Aston Villa, and where can he go to resurrect his career? Which team would be a good fit for the likes of a Leon Bailey circle if in fact he was to depart from Villa Park?
Yeah, it's really a cause for concern. Yeah, instead of him being on the rise, he seems to be regressing. He has gotten less minutes this season. His impact doesn't seem as it was last season, for sure. And maybe Unai Emery is now thinking about a change, and maybe a change for Bailey. Maybe good depending on where he goes as to if he will go and where he goes, then we're not sure. But I just hope he can make use of whichever new door opens for him.
Indeed, definitely something to keep an eye on. A story is there. A story is definitely brewing over there at Aston Villa, and it would be interesting to see if they can actually finish in one of those Champions League spot. For me, I had written them off. They were not amongst the team for me finishing in that top five. My top five was Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Forest. That those were my top five, I believe.
I
Uh,
believe
I believe Chelsea and Aston Villa was to miss out.
I know that I had Chelsea in the top four initially. I didn't have Forest in top four, but
Well, I doubt anyone had Torres in the top four
first in the top
circle.
four.
It would have been a very brave man to have had
But
Forest in the top four at the start of
top
the
four.
season.
Yeah,
Much
it
like
is
I'm seeing
true.
some prediction for Liverpool. Literally, all of the renowned pundits, none had Liverpool winning the title. It was either Arsenal or Man City. So Liverpool winning the title is both a shock, as well as Forest being where they are currently. It's yet to be seen if they'll finish in the top four, but they have had a tremendous season, regardless of their final positioning. But they would possibly feel a bit of disappointment, circle, having occupied that top four position for so long, to at the final whistle be caught on the outside looking in.
Yeah, that's for sure. But that's what happens at this level when you slip a bit. So when you get a chance, is really I have to take them.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, ah, and of course, Forest lost their game versus who was it? Brentford, I believe, today, circle. That was a game in hand they had, and that loss they have slipped down in terms of their position as well. They lost that game 2-0 to Brentford, and that was definitely a game they should have probably taken some points for to remain in the mix. Hopefully their form is not falling off at the wrong time. I mean, back-to-back defeats at this stage. Defeat to Man City in the FA Cup and now a defeat to uh, Brentford by identical scorelines as well.
I mean, early in the season, the defense I think was what was carrying the team. The defense was able to hold out for some clean sheets and things. But now the defense seems to be not as solid as before. They are now hitting in some goals. Mind you, Brentford is really a good attack on their day and can cause problems. But it's basically the defense going bad at the wrong time. And they have 4 games to try and fix it and cement themselves in that top four. You know, yeah.
Yeah, we also have Liverpool versus Chelsea, Sir Cole. Chelsea definitely another contender for that top four position. What can we expect? I mean, Liverpool have wrapped up the title at this point in time. Will we see rotation from Slot? Or will he continue with his best 11, first 11 that brought them to this title? Or will we now see, that release? So a bit of rotation, possibly giving players some minutes so they could become eligible for a medal, for example. And of course, Chelsea is definitely pushing for that top four or that top five. So what can we expect from that game? I mean, teams which have nothing to play for at this stage, these games can become rather unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, the title is already sewn up. Uh, Chelsea themselves may be looking to, you know, rest some players as well because they also have games remaining in Europe. Man, this even the one handsomely, so that their game should also be done and dusted in terms of the first leg semi final. So it's really hard to see how this one will pan out. Chelsea will want to rest some players if needs be. Liverpool really has already won the title, maybe some minutes. So I really don't see either team going full strength for this one. That's
Wow.
my take on it.
Mm. I think Chelsea will definitely come full strength. As to Liverpool, I am not sure, to be honest. And of course, that game will be played at Stamford Bridge as well, Circle. So definitely the fans should be wild up and they should be looking to get one over on the league champions as well. Uh, but I mean, the league champions are the league champions, Sir Cole, and they have won the title flying. So naturally, they are no pushover, no walkover, and Chelsea hasn't been the best team all season, in all honesty. So this should definitely be an entertaining game. It wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool did go in there and get the win, just pride alone and getting that guard of honor as well, Sir Cole. That is definitely something that Liverpool fans will be looking forward to for the next 4 games. Big teams like Chelsea and Arsenal to come will be giving Liverpool a guard of honor. It's only a pity, circle that Liverpool did not have a game versus Manchester United late in the
Well, it's a good
season
thing.
at
It's a good
Old
thing
Trafford
because
as well.
yeah, it really picked in my heart to see Liverpool walking out to such a guard. So give thanks I will really see it, at least not this season.
Well, I mean, the players play for these things, and this is just reward for such great performances at a consistent level all season. In all honesty, I mean, Liverpool has only been defeated twice for the season, Sir Cole. One at the hands of Nottingham Forest, and who was the other game? I
Fulham,
think Fulham,
Fulham,
right?
Fulham, Fulham.
Two unlikely teams that probably one would not have predicted to beat Liverpool, but that just goes to show the level of consistency with which they have played all season. But interesting game to come. But for me, I'm gonna call it a Liverpool win, circle. I think Chelsea will score, but I'm predicting Liverpool to maybe run away 2-1 winners. Another game, another team in contention is Brighton versus Newcastle. Brighton versus Newcastle. Newcastle, the team that is in big contention. They have really burst onto the scene with some great form, I would say, over the last 6 game circle, and they have climbed up the ladder and have positioned themselves quite well. They now sit third in the standings, 1 point ahead of Man City as well. Man City on 61 points, Newcastle on 62. and Chelsea on 60, tied with Forest on 60, but with a superior goal difference. They sit in fifth, while Forest sit in sixth. So this is a significant game, Sir Cole. What can we expect from this Newcastle team? And can Brighton put up resistance against a rampant attack led by Isak?
Well, Brighton's strength isn't really the defense. Brighton's strength is probably in the offense. Um, as I said, Newcastle has been finding some good results, playing some good form recently. They will want to stay in that top four position, and that drive I think will spur them to victory on the weekend over their opponents.
I can see nothing other than a Newcastle win as well. They should be fully motivated for this game with clinching a Champions League spot well within their grasp, in all honesty, Circle. So for me, I'm definitely going to be backing Newcastle for the win as well. As you say, Brighton's strength isn't really defending, and pretty much Brighton have sewn up their position. They can't be relegated. Possibly pushing for one of those minor European position would be the objective at this point in time, but they are in that middle zone. They're in that mid-table section of the league where the motivation may be waning. They're not fighting for relegation, and they're not really pushing for any title of such. And probably finishing in the Champions League is a leap they can't make. So I feel with a more motivated Newcastle team
Just
that has the ability, has the farm, have the players, Gardner, for example, coming back from injury, uh, Isak in good form as well, up front, leading the line and possibly pushing for a golden boot as well, trying to rival Salah. I can't see anything other than a Newcastle victory. So for me, I'm going to call this one 3 goals to 1 for Newcastle. 3 goals to 1. Newcastle would be my call for this game, Sir Cole. But any other game that stand out to you, Sir Cole? Manchester United, what can we say about United? They
uh,
faces Brentford. Brentford at home versus Manchester United.
I think the a 3-0 would have done us a huge favor. We can rest some players. We have some players back from injury, so it gives us a
So
bit of
Brentford to
depth.
win then, Sir Cole.
Um, I'm actually foreseeing a draw, just like the game weekend versus
Mm.
Bournemouth. I see this one being another draw as well. Probably
Well,
probably a
I
2-2
mean,
draw.
just speaking of that game versus Bournemouth, Circle, that was a horrendous decision by the referee to send off Ivan Nelson, and that is probably why United ended with a draw. I mean, since then, that red card has been rescinded, and Ivan Nelson is now eligible for the next game, which is against Arsenal. Bournemouth faces Arsenal. But yeah, that could have been the significant event which definitely
Change
affected the
the outcome
result
of
in
the
that
game.
one. But for me,
Yeah,
if United is going to rotate Circle, the quality in depth is definitely lacking at United. So I see nothing other than a Brentford win. If Manchester United doesn't go with their full strength 11, which, as you say, having played in the Europa League, and the coach may be having one eye ahead on the second leg, he may rest a few players. But if
well,
they do that, I
maybe
think Brentford will take full advantage.
where we lack the quality is really up front, but I think from midfield going backward, I think we can make some changes and still be competitive.
Mm.
So I think we can get lucky and score a goal or two without the bigger guns, because I mean Brentford isn't really a defensive powerhouse either. But
True,
so
true.
I'm saying
But at home,
that game can
they
really.
have been quite prolific at home, to be honest with you,
Yes,
with
they
that
have.
home fan behind them. The likes of Mbuma Wissa, a few underrated players, possibly Pinnock getting back into the side, the Jamaican international. Damsgaard, for example, a very underrated creative midfielder. But if you check his numbers, Circle, he is among the top open assist players in the league, but doesn't get the fanfare or the hurrah from the big media houses. But he is a quality player in that Brentford midfield, and he could possibly work his magic against this Manchester United team as well. But for me, if United rotate Sir Cole and give the fringe players a run out, I'm definitely backing Brentford to get a win over this team.
I mean, it really would come as a surprise if Brentford actually wins the game. But I think Manu's performances in Europe has really helped to lift the morale of the team, especially the win over Leon, was it?
Right, right.
So yeah, uh, yeah. Mind you, while we haven't won many, I don't think we haven't lost many either over the last few games. So I see us not losing this ones, and I'm saying that calling this one as a draw.
Dry it is, dry it is. But Sir Cole, any final thoughts? We're quickly running out of time. Any final thoughts as it relates to what you've seen in the football world the last couple of days and looking ahead to the weekend in terms of the EPL action and even further afield in terms of what to expect in the second legs of the Champions League? What's the word from
Well,
you?
with the league title are already sold up. My focus personally has shifted to the to the Champions League. Mind you, Man U has already avoided the drop, so our pressure is off here. Our pressure is off on that side. So it's really on the Champions League and two interesting ties still left to come up next week.
Definitely looking forward to the football that is remaining in the season. Coming thick and fast still, but the games are running out quickly. But football doesn't stop. We have the Club World Cup taking place in the USA circle. Messi should be on display. This is an opportunity for you to see him playing at a higher level. As opposed to the witnessing versus a cameo run out versus Cavaliers. You know, the Club World Cup coming up, and we also have some preseason friendlies. A number of teams should be touring the United States as well. And that is something to also look forward to. So football doesn't stop. You know, club football may go on a break, but definitely we see international football picking up the steam, and then earlier on further clubs, the Club World Cup. So lots to look forward to for the
Indeed.
remainder of the season. A number of trophies yet to be decided. Teams jostling for a position as well. That should make for good watching and good entertainment for the remainder of the season as well. But quickly, it's winding down quickly. It's winding down, and things are beginning to take shape. Teams have already locked up, sewn up titles, and teams are fighting for minor positions at this point in time. But that's all the time we have, Sir Cole. Thanks again for coming through, Sir Cole, and sharing your thoughts and your opinions. Viewers and subscribers, thank you again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Please continue to support us by sharing, liking. If you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscription bell. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.